This is our van.
It's a 21 Winnebago Revel.
We thought this would be the most important feature of our van.
And we thought we could push this button and this van would take us to magical places.
Across streams.
In the snow.
To mountaintops.
To magical boondocking spots.
We've done some of that.
But we haven't done as much as we planned.
And there are reasons for that.
And there are a lot of excuses too.
But it mainly boils down to where we live on the east coast of the United States.
Where there's not as much public land and the free, awesome camping that goes with that.
So it makes it harder.
You may love crowds, but the older we get, the more we don't.
And we love being around people and meeting new people. At least one of us does.
But when we're camping, we like to be out in remote areas by ourselves. We like to be out in the middle of nature.
And we thought the Revel would magically make that happen.
But it hasn't. But that changes today.
So like all of our trips, this one starts right here in our driveway. This week's destination is completely different.
Because today we say no more waiting, no more excuses. Today we point this van towards East Coast dirt roads.
Today we see if we have what it takes, and we see if this van has what it takes.
We're looking for wild and wonderful. So what better place to go than a state that boldly makes that claim, West Virginia.
I've been waiting so long for the storm to arrive. I know that is in you, I know that is in you. Dancing away with the world in your eyes. Oh, goodbye, Virginia, goodbye, Virginia.
Seems to be the trip of rest areas.
We've already stopped at 2, but Maggie's loving it. So we're driving about an hour and stop and drive an hour and stop. But we're taking the interstate on the way up to West Virginia. We kind of contemplated doing back roads all the way up there, but we wanted to kind of get there as soon as we could.
Get to dirt roads as soon as we could.
Yeah.
So I got to say though, the rest area where you come from North Carolina into Virginia, that may be the best rest area we've ever been to.
It was beautiful, all the little picnic tables.
Secluded little picnic tables and everything.
Maggie loved it.
So thought we'd just check in and let you know we're making progress towards West Virginia.
One of our go-to snacks when we're traveling, cheese sticks.
Especially when it's cold outside. I mean, especially when it's hot outside. It's not cold outside.
No, it's not.
Got your feet on the table and you're winking your toes.
So we went into West Virginia halfway through that tunnel. That was pretty awesome.
Do well indeed. I need someone to talk to when you're hiding from me. Sold your all and just walk through the rain and be like the rest of us. Yeah, be like the rest of us.
Even though it was a little out of our way, we just couldn't pass up visiting the nation's newest national park, known in West Virginia simply as the Bridge.
I know that is in you, dancing away with the world in your eyes. Oh, goodbye, Virginia, goodbye, Virginia. Goodbye, Virginia.
Figuring out where we're going?
Yeah. Trying. It's different than finding a campground. Having to plan a route through the forest roads is a little bit different. And we have this rule that we want to be close to where we're going to be spending the night by 3 or 3:30, 4 o'clock at the latest.
And now it's what time?
It's almost, it's 2:15 right now.
We might be a little bit later today since it was a travel day.
We may. we may find a place close by.
Here we all three are. Here's a little magpie.
She went 178 steps down. The sign there said that going down to the observation level was optional, but coming back up was not. And I can totally get that. So I misspoke just a few moments ago too when I said that we have a hard, fast rule. On this trip, since we're planning to be more out in the wilderness and the national forests and being out on dirt roads, I kind of want to be where we're going to spend the night by 3 or 4 every day.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I do.
Too, right?
I do.
And so our original plan was to leave here and head to Covington, Virginia, and then get in the George Washington National Forest there and find a place to disperse camp. And with the weather, it's going to get dark tonight at 8:35. We have 6 hours left. So I think that's still our goal, right?
Yeah, I think that's good.
But I could convince you to stay here for a couple of days.
Yeah, there's a lot of things to do here, and that we might have to come back here so we can enjoy it a little bit more. There's lots of hiking and whitewater rafting, which I would love to do, and you can walk underneath the bridge, which is, how high is it?
I don't know. It's really
We'll
high.
put it below.
Yeah, 850 feet, I believe. About 840 feet higher than I want to go.
Yeah, Owen's not going to do that. for sure.
I'm deathly afraid of heights. I don't know why. It has something to do with almost being dropped out of a second-story window when I was 2. But that's a long story.
You have to tell me that one.
Yep. So, are you okay then that we don't do that right now?
Right, I'm okay with that. It's a beautiful park though, and it's
The newest national park in the United States, and just got that designation. Pretty spectacular. But not what we came to do, just a stop along the way to what we came to do. Dirt roads are a calling.
That's right. Let's go. It's my famous line. Let's go.
That's your famous line?
That's right.
My famous
Pulling
line.
out.
Rolling down the road like a bandit.
I will be honest and say that doing these things.
I'm not sure.
Getting
Never
on-
know whenever she says, I'm going to be honest. Okay, what'd I do now?
Doing this is kind of making me excited to do it, but I'm also very nervous to do it. So,
The dirt roads?
well,
forest-
yeah,
national
where
forest
they
roads?
actually take us and what kind of shape they're in and stuff. So, but I do think that things that make you nervous and things that make you excited at the same time are things that you need to do.
That's true. It's totally true. And
You got it this way.
and her being nervous about this actually makes me more nervous because I'm responsible for making sure she's okay, and I take that responsibility seriously. And this was my deal to come out here and try to find something like this. And this entire journey with this van, though, is really kind of strange. It started out with me being the one that really wanted to do this, and Lynn came along kicking and screaming. And then recently, as we've not been using it for what we really plan to use it for, I've been hinting that I would be okay if we got a B+ or something else. And it's her.
Yeah, I don't want to give up yet. I like it. I like the van.
I love the van too. I mean, but you really like that it's so nimble and
Yeah, and it's comfortable, and we've made it work for us, and it's a lot of fun to travel in.
yeah. So we have 83 more miles to travel right now, and we'll turn the camera off and keep rolling. But that's a visit back there that if you're in the area, yep, you need to come and see that for sure.
Probably more than a couple of hours.
Yeah, maybe. been an interesting day. We just went right back into the state park because we couldn't get our van to engage in four-wheel drive. Took a few times to get that to work, and standing on one leg and holding your mouth just right. It is a finicky system for sure.
So I think we finally found our campsite for the night. I'll show you him backing up. This is awesome.
It is.
And you got your dirt road.
Not much of it, but hey, it was challenging to get in here.
Yeah, it was.
We have a
Fire pit.
pretty big fire pit over here, way bigger than we need, but you know, we'll set up and this will be home for a little bit. Yeah, wood. Yep, a pup dog that wants to get out of the van.
Let her out.
Let's do it.
Get out.
Maggie,
See where we are?
want to go camping? And just like that, in less than a minute, we have more wood just from fallen trees out here. Now there are ants on it, so I'm going to give it a second for the ants to quit being ticked off. Tonight we're having a simple meal of steak and sautéed vegetables on the Blackstone Griddle, out in the middle of the George Washington National Forest. Couldn't be better. My little striker thing doesn't work, so the first thing I have to do is light it with a lighter. We'll let it come up to temperature, and then we'll put the steaks and the veggies on. Like I said, it just couldn't be simpler. So we stopped at Walmart yesterday. Here's what we picked up. These are sirloin steaks, center cuts. They're extremely tender when you get them like this. And we could probably make do with 2 of them, but we went ahead and bought 4. We'll cook them. We'll either eat them tonight or we'll have them for snacks tomorrow. Got the griddle up to temp. We got salt and pepper on here, and these will cook for about 2 minutes on this side. I'll spray them, put a little more salt and pepper on, and then we'll turn them over, and then it'll be time to put the vegetables on. So if you haven't noticed, Lynn and I like meat. We cook chicken and steak, and we like fish too, but if you don't like that kind of thing and you're watching me cook this and this is grossing you out, then just fast forward. But you could imagine that this is like eggplant or squash, but nothing's like.
No, you can't.
Nothing's like this meat right here.
You can't imagine it.
It's really good. Oh man, it's really good. And it's starting to smell really, really good. And then what we've got here, see, we're getting a little bit of caramelization on that first side. I'll let it go just a little bit longer, and then we're going to flip it.
Turn those steaks.
Alrighty. Steaks are ready to turn. Let's get those things turned. And as I do that, I'm going to make a little room for the veggies. Looking good, looking good. We're going to deglaze some of that steak flavor onto the veggies.
So what kind of veggies do you have?
We have squash and zucchini and onions.
A lot of garlic.
Drop one little pat of butter down between the steaks. So the veggies are done, and the steak still needs about 3 minutes, it looks like. So I'm going to pull the veggies over against the side of the griddle. It's the coldest spot on the griddle, And maybe they'll hang in there for the 3 minutes that I need without having to take them off early. One more pat of butter in between the steaks. I'm going to put a little more garlic in between the steaks too. Just a little.
Need more butter?
I think we're good, sweetie. We're 2 minutes out. That needs a little more salt. We are in bear country here, so I'm just making sure we don't have any visitors coming to eat dinner with us tonight. All right. I think now we can plate this up. Get some veggies on one of them. Well, that looks good. Man, that looks good. All right, push the steaks off to the side, the extra veggies off to the side here. Clean up in a minute. Let's go eat. You're gonna do the first bite tonight, dear.
Good.
Man.
You got you on the fire?
No, I think I'm just gonna eat.
Uh-oh.
It's a really good meal for our first meal of this trip. And we're only gonna stay 3 or 4, maybe 5 nights on this trip, and then we'll head back home. We're doing something special with our grandchildren and our middle daughter and son-in-law next week. But we're definitely not going out to go camping over Memorial Day weekend. You can have that. Turn the camera off and enjoy it. Griddle me this. Best thing you can cook on the griddle? Well, it might be what you cooked tonight. But for us, it's hard to beat these steaks, and it's hard to beat veggies griddled on there. Campfire, Maggie's pretty happy. Bugs are not biting us. Perfect.
To the campfire.
I know, perfect. So we don't need the fire, but it's so easy to make out here, and Lynn loves gathering the kindling so much that, well, it will keep the bugs down a little bit. And we're right beside of the water, and it is a little buggy, but it's hard to complain. This is a free campsite in the National Forest, the George Washington National Forest, and we're right outside of the state park, maybe a mile and a half or 2 miles outside of the state park. And this is home for tonight. Day 2 on our West Virginia trip, and we actually woke up this morning in Virginia. We may be lost.
It's easy to get lost out here for sure.
It is. This is a totally different type of navigation for me, and it is for Lynn as well. We have a subscription to Guide GPS, and it's supposed to be the premier service, but it all depends on the layers that you've downloaded anyway. We'll go into that later, but if you're going to do this, you need to become very proficient at Guide GPS, and you need to get used to almost using the digital equivalent of paper maps, because I'm spoiled. I just tell Google Maps where I want to go, and I just
point the van that way, and that's what I do. And you don't do this with God's GPS for sure.
So there's definitely a learning curve there that we're going to have to learn.
But look where we woke up this morning, our very first morning up here on this trip, and we're by ourselves. It was a peaceful, quiet night last night. We heard some animals, but nothing major, and it was a good night.
It was.
Today, we have hopes of dirt roads.
He was real disappointed that we didn't do dirt roads yesterday, but we kind of felt like it was too late by the time we actually found what we were looking for. And so we decided just to pull in and camp and
take the best spot. And you know, when you find a spot like this, it doesn't matter how far off the road it is. It had some dirt road, but it wasn't very much. It's a good free site. So I think today we'll exit the George Washington National Forest and get to the Monongahela. Monongahela. I'm going to say that wrong 1,000 times, so just know that. But that's where we're going to spend most of the time today and tomorrow. We're glad you're with us, and we're going to drink some coffee and get to rolling towards a dirt road.
One last look at our campsite. It was beautiful waking up here this morning. We're ready to pull out of here, looking for a dirt road for Owen.
We'll call that a wrap for this week's video. Check back next week and see if we actually make it to dirt roads. I bet we do.
Goodbye, Virginia. Goodbye, Virginia. Goodbye, Virginia.